Marriage takes work and it isn't always easy. It takes effort to protect, to mature, and grow in a marriage. Between work schedule, children, and other obligations, sometimes it might feel impossible to maintain a relationship. When problems arise, some couples find it easier or healthier to divorce, while others want to stay in the marriage and work things through. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Tanvision podcast, Understanding Mind and Purpose, where we explore the depths of human mind and understand life's greatest questions. I'm your host, Tanvi, and I am joined once again by our resident expert, Mr. Ahmed Fadhul, human behavior specialist.
Happy to be with you, Tanvi. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. In today's episode, we'll be tackling the topic that affects us all, the nature of marriage and divorce. Relationships are central to human existence, but they can also be incredibly complex. What makes our marriage sustainable, and what factors can ultimately lead two people to grow apart? A survey conducted in 2005 in US found I list some reasons for divorce that was listed by this survey, and they found it was conducted on a large scale, and these are the leading causes of divorce in the US. So I'll list down from the most to the least. Lack of commitment, number 1. Constant arguing, number 2. Number 3 is infidelity. Number 4 is marrying too young. Number 5 is unrealistic expectations about the partner or marriage. Number 6, inequality between partners. Number 7, inadequate preparations for marriage. Number 8 is domestic violence. Number 9 is financial problems. Number 10 is conflicts about domestic work. Number 11, lack of family support. And the last on this list is religious differences. But are these mentioned reasons the only reasons for a marriage to fall apart, or do they stem out of something more deeper? Can we do something to make sure our marriages are more sustainable, or if divorce is at play, then can it be more amicable and healthy? As our podcast is based on the VMG life methodology, Mr. Ahmed, you are the one who has founded this life methodology along with Dr. Nada Al-Hasawi and Mr. Mohammed Al-Muaddin. Can you please recap about what VMG is?
Sure. I'm so excited, to be honest. While you are reading this, it's a lot of things going into my mind. You know, I'm so happy. Thank you very much for that. So, when we talk about VMG again, this is the method, and this is, that we said, a scientific method that any human, if recognize that 3 letter and understand what's that and apply it, then we think that they will come to understand what's the real life about. The V stand for human highest value, number 1. When we say number 1, it means the human lives in hierarchies of values, and we are looking at the value number 1, the best or the most value close to your heart, and you love to do it. The M stand for the mind, and that to do or explain what's mine. Is that mind know how to deal with it? We know how to organize it. Who is leading us? Are we leading the mind or the mind leading us? So all this required to understand. And finally, it's the goal. As a human being, you need to have your own purpose, your own goal to achieve it by linking the value and the voice and letting the mind to do the action.
So when an individual discovers or leans into their highest value through conscious thought and inspired actions, it creates a pivotal shift. Correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. So just to recap, V is your highest value, which is the innermost, deepest driving force that you have.
Correct.
And the M is the mind, which is the mental awareness, having a mental awareness and clarity. And G is the goal, which is the vision that you create for your all aims.
Correct. And when you combine all this together, you will be reaching what we call it a quantum consciousness. Okay. So you'll be reaching the higher consciousness, which is soul consciousness, not the 5 sense consciousness, the soul consciousness.
Can you a little bit touch on the soul consciousness before we get into the mind, before we get into this topic?
Yes, when we look at this body as a human, are we human being? Yes, everybody know that we are human being, but in reality, or going deeper than that, we are spiritual being experiencing life through this body as a matter. Okay, so now we have two forces to maneuver us or make us take an action. There is an outside energy, and it's energy from within. Anything from an outside, that's for survival energy, okay, to keep us moving, do whatever do in life. But that's not life. The energy from within, that will create a life. We will reach the creativities, we will reach the inspiration, and that's soul energy.
Okay.
So you are moving from within. So if I make this easier, if you are doing what you love to do from within, then you've been driven by your soul.
Thank you very much for explaining it much easier for our listeners. Last episode we were talking about paradigms, right? One of the most important things that drives our behavior is our paradigm. Can you tell us a little bit more what are paradigms and how they are developed?
Yes, paradigm is actually the Greek word parademia, which is the way of we think. Okay, and that's related to the culture, related to the whatever we study since we from the day we born until now. All that culture, it's in our memory, and our memory, it's our thoughts and emotion, and that's create our behavior. So paradigms, it is the reason why we do our behavior. Okay, so we behave based on our paradigm, based on our way of program.
So it's a mental conditioning that happens.
That's correct.
From the beginning. Is it like if a paradigm is formed, we can't change it?
No, we can change paradigm, but take consciousness that you want to change that paradigm, and there is a way of doing that by understanding that your paradigm or all paradigm required to be, let we say, updated or let us say upgraded, and by upgrading the paradigm, but by understanding or by accepting new thoughts that related to who you are, new feeling, new emotion, and that create a new action, a new result. Which is another way that if you have a new idea related to who you are and you want to do, to apply that idea, it just matter of you keep focusing to that and practice that thoughts, that feeling. So it will be connecting to your subconscious mind, and that will create kind of like a brain cell of that action. And when you are creating that brain cell in the mind by the action of that thoughts, this is where the paradigm will be shifted.
So how can these individual paradigms, we all have paradigms, right? We all come from different backgrounds. So how can these paradigms shape our our marriages?
Well, see, when we say paradigm, it's culture, it's our thoughts, our emotion, our all the information that we have it in our mind. It's create our paradigm. Now, a paradigm is create as our personality. So when you want to get in relationship or to get married, of course you want to find the right partner for you. So when you want to find the right partner, you need to know what's that person behave, what's how he act in his life, because when you be involved with any new person, you only see, as we say, always the positive side of it.
Yeah,
you don't see the negative side.
Correct.
And the negative, when we say negative, is mean the things that we don't like, for example, and we think that he does not have it or she doesn't have it. That's it in the paradigm. Okay, in the behavior. But you only will see a good behavior and good things, whatever related to us, with the first person. I think paradigm would work big time with when it comes to the relationship and get married.
Is it important for two people in a relationship to have similar upbringing or similar worldview about things?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Another way, you mean the same paradigm almost? Similar
Yes,
paradigm, similar
paradigm.
culture?
Yeah, yeah.
No, not necessarily. As you see, sometimes some marriage or certain culture, they marry from very close, like, Middle East, they cousins and these things get married. And some of the different nation, they do married from close family or same culture, but they have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to do with marrying similar paradigms or similar thoughts. No, if we understand who we are and what's our purpose in life, then we have our own paradigm and we create our own identity. And then if we understand our identity, then of course the other partner have different identity, then we allow that person to practice and accept his identity. This is one of the secret of keeping the marriage sustainable.
As you said, different identities. Speaking of that, if we have different identities, different experiences throughout our life, how difficult is it for partners to be on the same page if you have two different worldviews completely?
There is no problem for the views, of course. In fact, if we have different personality, if it is our personality, majority, 95% of people, they have personality, but they are not their personality. This personality being programmed from the young age, as we say, this is the paradigm, and they lose their identity. So majority of us, we don't have real identity. We have copy identity or program identity. But when it comes to real identity, we need to have, it's natural to have different identity. And by creating cooperation between this identity and that identity, it will create a bridge between these both and we will work together. But if we don't know who we are and our program, it's based on culture, then my identity been lost and I will be only representing the culture identity, but my identity is not being clear.
Can you elaborate how having your values apply, like having or discovering your values apply to a marriage?
I think majority of, first of all, let me go focus a little bit on the negative side of
Okay.
it. Majority of marriage in general, it's shaken up. If you go and do the research, you see in the Middle East, I would say, because we are from Middle East, each 10 marriage or relationship, 6 to 7% will end up of divorce or in the court. Now, this is a big number. Now, the reason why, if you go and when the first we did
Last episode?
No, this episode, when you mentioned the 7...
The 12 lists.
The 12 list.
Yeah.
That's clear, Chris. That's why my mind went, wow, it's very interesting. This is everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Everywhere,
Yeah, it
whether Far East or America or Middle East or Europe, it is the same.
It is the same.
Now, the reason why, now as a human, we're searching for our identity, no?
Correct.
And we are searching for our value. But do we know what's our value? Majority of us, no. Now, when we don't live our value, then obviously we live in a stress. When you live in a stress, you don't think. When you don't think, you just live in survival. When you survive, then the marriage itself, it's become like just to have a person in your life, like exactly animals, to have babies only, okay? And babies is for survival, not for life. So when we talk about marriage, or the purpose of marriage, it's not just for having babies. Humans get married to have a life, not babies. But babies keep the life.
Correct.
Okay? But if I get married and to have only babies, it means I don't have a life. I am survival. The reason why you survival because there is no clear vision of who you are and you don't know your purpose in life, which is you don't know your highest value, number one. And this is where the clash of all marriage all around the world, not because it's different culture or different religion or different or money or all of that. It's of course the fact, but the number one, we are lost. We don't know who we are. We don't know what's our highest value, and to create clashing between male and female, and of course because you stress and the male stress and female stress, wife and husband stress, life will be miserable. That's why they end up divorcing.
Yeah. it's like if you don't know your authentic self, you're not bringing authenticity in a marriage anyways.
No, correct. This is
See, last episode we were discussing about infatuation, and that's what you said, negative.
Right.
We look
Yeah.
into
Yes.
the positive over the negative of a person. We
Yes.
learned that infatuation is shallow and viewing the person's positive sides and ignoring the negatives.
Correct.
And some people choose to live in those fantasies rather than the reality. So in a marriage, when attraction is replaced by a power struggle, what happens then? You remember that one of the 12 things that I listed
Yes.
out, one of the things was inequality between partners.
Yes.
There is a power struggle. Maybe one partner is working, the other one is not working.
Yes.
It can be, like even gender roles, like as a woman, you go out and work and the husband is cooking,
Yes,
or
yes.
he's staying at home, or the other way around. There is some sort of a power struggle. So even if they're both of them outside and they're working, who's making more money, who has more standing? Like if the wife is a little bit more successful than the man, they are doing their own values, but I think they are more, I'll ask you, don't you agree? They are not self-aware or not self-confident because they cannot see the other person's value?
It's beautifully, you mentioned this. It's true what you said, absolutely, I agree with it. But when it comes, for example, the wife, she's a lawyer, for example. Okay. And her husband is an ordinary person working in an office. Okay. She might get $20,000 salary, he might get $5,000. Does it create conflict in the house? To me, if the wife working from the highest value, there'll be no problem for her. Of course, she'll be happy. Even when she come home, she'll be happy. Again, if the husband he is doing his highest value or aware of his highest value and he's operating through that, there'll be no problem. So again, all these excuses, I will call it be a part of creating problems. And if it is creating the problem through that, what you mentioned is being exists already in our life, I want to highlight this very important. We have to know that if I have a problem with my marriage, ask yourself, am I operating from my highest value? Yes or no? And if it is yes, is the husband or the wife doing her highest value or the husband doing his highest value? If it is yes, it shouldn't be any problem. 100%, it will be no problem. But if it is not being clear, sometimes we do our value, but we have expectation, we have a culture, we sacrifice, and we end up creating a destructive life in our life because we go through, that we said, sacrificing for the husband or the husband sacrificing for the wife. And this is where the clash. It's not because I don't know what's my highest value. I know my highest value, but I sacrifice my life because my culture, the paradigm involved. So the secret that if my heart, which is my value, and my mind understanding this value, to create a coherence between my heart and mind, it means I am in peace. When I'm in peace, my paradigm is in peace. It is open. It is accepting. It's balanced. So in this way, I will help creating a balance in my life, and I will help the other part or my partner, for example, to reach his value, and he will be calm because I am calm, or she'll be calm because I am calm. But if I am stressed and he's stressed, or she's stressed and he's stressed, this is where the conflict is.
There was a film in India. Now, I forget the name. It was in the 70s, I think. In which there was this main character of the film. He is a singer. Okay, he is a very famous singer in films. And he falls in love with a girl who is like a normal singer, like sings normally. And then he realizes that she has the potential to become famous as well. And he supports her to become famous. Okay. And somehow she becomes even more famous than the husband.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is where the husband's ego starts getting shattered. Even though he is a very, he's doing his value. He's a singer and he's getting all the fame. but she is getting more fame, that's where the problems between the husband and wife starts happening.
Correct.
Why does that happen? Now, this is a film,
Yes.
but this is a very common thing as well. Like,
Yes.
how can this be resolved?
I've seen this movie, I think it's a long time. It's a beautiful movie, and even the song is fantastic.
Yes, yes.
See, if I remember that movie, I put it together to answer your questions. We mentioned at the beginning paradigm, right?
Yeah.
And the culture, the way we brought up and
Yeah,
everything. And that's creating our mind, okay? Mind, our behavior. Now, the value is what make you happy and everything.
Correct.
But when your value is there, and you might not understand this is your value, become the ego be started because I brought up that way. Maybe I brought up in a bad situation, or my father he's let we say aggressive, or my mother aggressive, or my culture, or I've been threatened when I was a child. That's my paradigm. Will affect the behavior of other people when it come to me as taking my value. And I don't want anybody to share this value. This is like I want to control it. This is mine. If you take in this, I'll be destroyed. It's become like a threat.
Yeah.
When it become a threat, of course, again, the person who have the value becomes subconscious. And when you become subconscious, you'll be stressed. And you will be acting from survival. And that's why you'll get sick. Even your voice will change. Your value will be distracted. You are not going to be performing right. You will be miserable. And this is where it will lead you to destroy yourself by yourself, not by the person that coming singing better than you. But if you are incoherent and you are, for example, if that person acts, say, wow, you are singing fantastic. I'm so proud that you are that. In this case, he or she will be fantastic and she'll be successful, and he will be more successful as well because he is the root of that. But because he was living in a threat and subconscious behavior, he destroyed himself. If I remember, I think he become drunk and he's become like homeless, something like this.
I don't know the end of the
Yeah.
film, but it really created a very big drift
Yes,
between
yes.
the husband
It
and
will
the
destroy.
wife.
It will destroy.
Yeah, it destroyed. Now, speaking of the same, I mean, if you apply the VMG in this
Yes,
situation,
yes.
now this person or this character's value is in place.
Correct.
Okay, maybe he has a goal, but where the problem
Mind.
is happening is the mind.
Correct.
As you said, he goes into subconscious and then
Yes,
he starts
yes.
feeling threatened.
Yes, yes.
So if your mind is more if you have that mental awareness, your value, your mental awareness and clarity, and your goal, it kind of creates the perfect balance.
Absolutely. I'll give you one example
Please.
related to this as well in our cultures. Just recently, 2024, I think April, May, one of the top singer, famous in the Middle East, in Kuwait. He's almost number one there.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's doing performance, everybody loved him. However, there's a new generation, new singer coming around. What he does, he doesn't allow them to come with him to highlight or to shine.
Okay.
It's always become like a threat. And if he will perform, I want to perform by myself, not somebody else. If you're related to
Yes.
that film. So he's singing, for example, up to 4 hours, 3 hours on the stage, and more than 18 songs. So he's tired from there. And if there's somebody coming with him on the stage, he refuses. So he put in his pressure. He become like stressed. It's not because the value in the mind, he become threat that people now will take all my shining star, whatever,
Yeah, my thunder.
my thunder
away, yeah.
So he ended up having stroke, and he's been in the hospital. So what does it mean? He did not have understanding that if you have a value, you need to give this value to others, not
hold it.
Not hold it. He hold it, and that's what's happened to him. Situation happened, and if the person not understanding how to deal with his mind, this is the most complicated or challenge in life.
Correct.
The mind.
How important is it in a marriage to do things with each other's values? For example, I know my value, I'm authentic, my husband knows his value, and we understand each other's values. How important is it for me to spend time in his value and him to spend time in my value.
The more you are engaging with your value, you automatically will be involving with his value.
Even though if they are poles apart.
Yeah. Because it's not the quantity of involving yourself with his value. It's the quality of involving yourself with his value. Because if you, for example, engage maximum with his value, are you ignoring your value or sacrificing your value for pleasing that value? That's dangerous. So it means why sacrificing your value for his value? But when you are happy doing whatever you value, you'll find a lot of time to help his value, and you'll be happy to contribute even more. So quality of delivering and understanding the giving value for the other value, which is the husband value, it will be based on how you focus on your value, how you giving yourself attention, number one.
I want to touch base on the first on the list, which is the most likely cause of divorce, which is lack of commitment. Why do you think that happens in a marriage? How can that be related to values?
See, lack of commitments, basically we'll say, commit in what? Why I'm commitment in what? Mm-hmm. And somebody else value talking about?
No, I mean in a relationship, many commitment in terms of, are you committed to be in this relationship or not? Like maybe one person is not there 100% and then still they've decided to become a husband and wife. Because they are not putting their 100% in the relationship, they tend to fall apart.
Sure.
So you tend to say that they are not committed to make sure that this marriage,
Obviously, if you go deeper and let me practice this life with you, turn this question to you, because you answer it and you know it. For example, do you think if there is no commitment, is that person understanding and conscious about his value? Is he doing his value?
No, I don't think
so.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Then, if he knows his value and he's happy with his value, do you think he will be destroying his marriage? No, unless the wife, for example, or the husband,
one of the partners,
not having their value, not operating by their value, and basically they're living in survival, creating a challenge for the wife or the person who's having the value. Do you think it will be continuing good life?
No. See, commitment in a way is like if you are doing your value, you're committed to yourself to do that value, correct?
Correct, number one.
So if I am committed, I'm organically putting the commitment in the relationship.
Yes, yeah. See what's happened? If you creating more challenge in that, and let's just say one of the party, or let's just say the husband or the wife having their value, but that person not operating from their value. So there'll be issue at the house.
Correct.
Stress. Basically, the person who's not having the value will be stressed, correct? Then will add negative environment for the person who have the value, correct? And that will create, do you think the wife or the husband, depends. Do you think the person who having the value will stay at home, give more time at home, or he will disappear, going outside, doing his value outside?
I think the second one. He's going out.
Correct?
Correct.
And when he's coming back or she's coming back, do you think that person at home happy? No. So this is where the issue is in here. So it end up, you have a choice. Do you want to live this life forever? You having your value, but you're having bad husband or bad wife, or no, I'm saying not bad wife, but I'm saying or bad husband. But let's say it, a person without value. Will you sacrifice your value to make that person happy, or you will say divorce, let that person go his life, whatever they want, and I will live my life happy. And if that person need my help, I will help. But I'm not gonna have, I'm not gonna be an evil for that person. Which one is better? To continue or divorce?
No, to divorce. Divorce is more healthier.
Divorce, and if you have value, and somebody, let's just say, two wife and husband have issues, and let's just say the wife or the husband have value and the wife not. and she's miserable. Let us put it this way. And if the husband divorces his wife, if the husband understands his value and she's not his value and he cannot continue with his wife, and if he divorced, you'll find him looking after his wife and kids in different way, more than even they are at home. They're not going to be like aggressive divorce. They'll be like constructive divorce, if we want to call it.
Yeah, more amicable, healthier.
Yeah. I'm not going to destroy it because she's bad. No. She's not bad. She needs help. And if she's not happy with me, what can I do?
Yeah.
I will help her.
So why does these divorces happen that it's like really bad? Again, they're not in their values?
100%. Or they have the value, but the mind problem, no? A lot of divorce happen not because of value, because culture, isn't it?
Can you give an example?
Okay, somebody like a superstar movie, famous, doing his value, but his culture, wife have to be home, wife have to be this, wife have to be that.
Like the gender roles, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So when wife not doing whatever she does, I do my value, but the wife's doing not my culture supposed to be operate as a wife. Do you think I will be tough or rough or happy?
That'll be tough. Very tough. Yeah.
So this is where the mind have to understand that the wife have value as well. She's not slave. She's not. We need to cooperate working at home. We need to have harmony at home. This is where the mind have to understand, to create a shift in the culture and to accept a value behavior. I'll create a value behavior. Some of the relationship, it's happened, I've seen it. The issue of between the wife and husband is nothing to do with value. In fact, they are having the divorce because the culture, the mind, it's not the value. Both of them know the value, but both of them, they don't know they are doing their values.
Yeah.
And they're operating for the mind. She's supposed to do this. For example, he is fisherman, his value, and he's happy with that. And she is farmer. And he want to build apartment upstairs for his kids, 14 years for the future. Now she's not contributing to build the building, the apartment, or let's say, apartment. And she's doing with her farming at home. And he said that, she's not contributing something for the building for our kids. And they want to get divorced. Imagine. So he will divorce her because of culture, because she's not contributing, she's not listening, she's not listening to me. And when he divorces her, do you think the kids will be happy?
No.
So what's to do with he will be destroying her and the kids, correct or not?
Correct.
For what? For building something upstairs for their future kids, after 10 years they get married. So when I put them together, I say, what are you doing? Gardening. Do you love it? Don't contribute anything for upstairs. Do what you love, enjoy it. And I said to him, what you do? So like fisherman. I said, enjoy whatever you do. And she became one of the top landscaping in Bahrain. And they have 2 houses, 2 villas now. And instead of getting divorced, they find, and within 4 to 5 years. See, when you understand this, when the mind understands the value, life will be peace.
So in what ways that a couple can identify and shift their paradigms to create sustainable partnership?
First of all, you have to understand what you want to shift it for. Are you happy or not happy with your paradigm? If you want to create a paradigm shift, you need to admit that what I am living in is not making me happy. So this is the first, you have to admit it. Then say, okay, I want to shift. When you want to shift, not for copying somebody else's success. You have to understand what is your value, understand your value, highlight it, and start doing your value. So when you're doing your value, you will be feeling happy, correct? But if you are not doing your highest value, you're copying somebody else's value, your intention that you want to be happy like other person happy, the way how he's happy or she's happy. So you're copying his value or her value. That you're not going to achieve it, because you only want the positive side of that value, not the negative side of that value. You don't go for the challenge, you want to go for reward in your mind. But when you do your highest value, the challenge itself, the stress of doing your value, it's a pleasure for you because you are in love of what you're doing as the highest value.
Don't you think when you're looking at only the positives that you have a certain expectation from the relationship, correct?
Yeah.
Like one of the things on the list was unrealistic expectations
Yes.
about the marriage or the partner.
Yes.
I expected my marriage to be like this. I
Right,
expected
yes.
my partner to be like this, and this turns out like that. So where does these expectations, and I think this is one of the key to make or break a relationship, do you think that we should not have expectations getting into a relationship?
This is one of the big challenge for the marriage life. Expectation shouldn't be. You don't expect anything in that. Why? If you expect something happen, so whatever you're doing, you are expecting that result happening, and you cannot guarantee any result, negative or positive. See, when you want to expect that, let us say, the wife or the husband, he should do this or she should do this kind of thing. If she doesn't do it, I'm not going to be happy with her. That reflects to the inner person himself that he is lost. That's why when you expect something, it's like you're saving you. The expectation that should be like this, should be like that. It's kind of, you want to be saved by that partner, by the husband or by the wife. I think expectation, if it is being exist within the human, again, shows clear crystal that that paradigms require or need to be shifted, because again, the 7 to 11 years old of life, perhaps that he's seen that in the father or the mother, on the culture and the society. A lot of people have expectations, so it's only a mirror for him when he's get married. He see his father and mother in that relationship, and this is again, this is part of destroying the relationship, not the building.
So basically it can be like when a person is growing up, or when a child is growing up, maybe his parents are in a very good and healthy relationship,
Right.
and a very loving relationship, but once he grows up, he wants to have the same kind of love, same kind
Correct.
of respect.
Correct.
And he expects that this is what he should be getting.
Absolutely.
And then when that doesn't happen, there's a sense of blame there.
Absolutely. You said it beautifully. Sometimes you live in, we'll call it spoil culture.
Yeah.
Okay? Everything's around you. Tea, coffee coming to you.
Yeah.
Okay, bring the tea, take the tea, and that's spoiled, right?
Yeah.
So when somebody get married and have this in his mind that he saw that the mother bringing the tea always to his father, so when he is married and he see, oh, there is no tea being delivered from my wife, so you see that, oh, where's my tea?
Actually, this reminds me of a very funny thing that had happened when I got married. My husband used to he used to sit on the couch. He's like, give me the remote.
Yes.
It was right in front of him. Give me the remote.
Yes.
Get me this, get me that. So one day I was like, you know what? Remote is right in front of you.
Yes.
I'm sitting as comfortably
Yes.
as you are and watching the show or
Yes.
TV or whatever. If you want to get the remote, get up and get it by yourself.
Yes.
So I said it to him,
Yeah.
and I think since then it has changed because
Yeah.
I said it, because this is how I grew up. If you want to
Culture.
get up and go and do your thing, you will not like a remote is right in front of you and I
Yes.
still have to get up and give it to you. You know?
This is again, I guess this culture.
Yeah.
It's true, and if let me put that in a different way. Have you been to his house?
Yes.
Okay. Who bring the tea and coffee to the dining table?
Oh, my mother-in-law.
See. So that's paradigm, no?
Yeah,
Okay. Who clean the dishes?
she does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless there's a new paradigm, and it create more understanding, and that person start to be more open and say, "Oh, I need to help my wife." Maybe
Yeah.
we'll go to the
no,
kitchen.
I've noticed it once. I think my mother-in-law had a surgery in her hand.
Okay.
And I noticed my father-in-law cleaning the
Break
dishes,
break-
breaking that thing. Yeah, breaking
But
it.
imagine there is Wengis coming and he's having the gloves and the soap and washing the plates. What they will say?
Oh my God.
He will run away
Oh.
from kitchen, no?
Correct.
Yeah, because he
Correct.
feel embarrassed that,
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to clean, no?
Yeah.
Vacuum, who vacuum the house?
Yeah.
So that's culture.
Actually, you were very clear. I mean, I've never seen my dad cleaning. You get what my mom
Vacuuming?
No, never.
See?
I have never seen him. But my mom, yes, every time.
You see?
But my dad, no, I haven't.
What?
But my dad is active in the kitchen. He loves to cook.
kitchen.
He loves to cook.
So when you come to, as I said, the hierarchies of value, if the cooking for your dad number 2 or 3, he will love
to be in the kitchen, yeah.
I personally love cleaning. I love cleaning. So when I go to any party, even somebody come to, you find me cleaning the dishes, cleaning this. I love vacuuming. I love ironing. I love ironing. And I say, oh, why I love the ironing? Because when I brought up, when I grew up, I didn't have iron in my home. I don't know. I don't remember. But because I remember when I used to fly, when I was like 27, 28 years old, up to almost 40 something or 20 years flying, every time I iron my uniform, every time I take my clothes, I iron it. So become cleaning and ironing and packing piece of cake for me.
So basically it became your part of the duty in your household?
Yeah. It's normal.
Normal, yeah.
Sometimes, for example, I need to pack to travel for 1 month holiday, exactly 1 hour to pack from cupboard to suitcase.
1 hour.
1 hour. Like 1 day before I travel, 1 day only, 1 hour out. Done.
Done. Okay.
Well, because I used to fly 20 years, and every time I pack for flight, sometime half an hour. When you get sleep, wake up and say, okay, pick up the wake up call. How long to leave the hotel?
I think 1 hour.
So how the packing how it
Yeah.
goes sometime in.
Yeah, correct. I mean, like, even I enjoy washing dishes. So my husband doesn't, he just keeps the dishes because he's like, I know you like washing dishes. And for me, it's the best time.
Okay.
That half an hour, 40 minutes I spend in the kitchen, it's my time.
Where
I
is
love
your
it.
mind that time when you do the kitchen?
It's actually, I listen to a lot of podcasts. So at that time, I'm listening to my podcast.
It's the studio there.
Correct.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's very interesting. I know we are diverting from the questions, but it's a very personal question. Yeah. This afternoon, we were cleaning. Okay. I want to, because I have a way I want to clean. Maybe vacuum the floor, then I wipe the floor, and there is a certain way of doing things.
Yeah.
So my husband's like, okay, I'll help you. They remove the carpet. I was bringing in the vacuum. Now I'm going to start vacuum. He's like, no, you don't need to vacuum. You can just, take the dirt out of the floor, just brush it, and then you can just wipe the floor. And I was like, I literally had to fight my mind that to try this method as well. Because for me, it's like, no, this has to be done. This has to be done. This has to be done. For me, it's like, literally, he had to be like, what's wrong with you?
Correct.
And that's the time I had to really think, like, really, I mean, what's wrong with me? I can change. I can do this way. It's giving me the same results or even faster results than what it could give me.
See, I'm almost 29 years and been married, almost. I love vacuuming. But in 28 years, every time I vacuum, if my wife around the house, she will vacuum after me.
Because she has a
way. Doesn't mean vacuum, carpet. But she have different way of vacuuming, different way of cleaning.
Yeah.
You see, it's again, this is culture. And this is Tanvi, we are not drifting from
the conversation.
Because what's about?
Yeah.
Marriage and divorce, right?
Yes.
Do you know, I've seen a lot of relationship being destroyed because of that. Cleaning and cooking and this.
Actually, you know what? I was just going back to the list. Number 10 on the list is conflict on domestic work.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. This is the heart of it.
Yeah.
And domestic work, it creates domestic violence. Why didn't you do this? Why did this be argument? Through the argument, we'll find stress.
Yeah. Is it possible for one person to just wake up one day and then feel the person next to him is a stranger? Can it happen overnight like that?
It is a tough question, but yeah.
It can happen?
Yeah.
Even after, like, we've heard stories like, oh, they've been together or they've been married for 30 years and then they decided to divorce. Like, why bother after 30 years? But it happens.
In fact, see, the divorce or the separation, okay? So what's the cause of that? It have to be pain. The pain, not necessarily that you are not good or bad. Sometimes you feel that if you are there, you're destroying. I've seen few story, or let's say issues with wife and husband. I said, why you want to divorce? He said, because I want to divorce. I want to give her the house. I want to make sure the kids go to the school so they aren't safe. I said, why if you are there? No, nothing. He said, if I there, I'm arguing every night with my wife. So if I stay, they see fight, every night fight. So what can I do? I don't want to say, I'm going to take apartment, different apartment. And I will visit every weekend I will visit. My life is really much better. So he's divorcing not because he hates, because there is a pain in that. And he cannot face the pain. Why? Because he's not doing his highest value. And if he's not doing highest value, he cannot contribute. If he cannot contribute, he feel pain. Feel guilty. When you feel guilty that you're not contributing money in cash, you will be more aggressive, because you see, especially from the male, you feel like I'm useless in the culture. I'm not giving money. And you'll find the opposite. You will see if the man not working and at home and the wife working at making the money, he will feel more aggressive, more upset, stressed. Why? Because he can see that the wife making money.
I'm not contributing.
Yeah, and he want to take that money and he want to control it. He want to be the boss also in it.
Yeah.
Why? Because as a culture, male have to be controlling life.
Yeah,
no?
patriarchal.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Buying, selling, painting, and eating, drinking, controlling everything. No, we should not this.
But why do people still tend to stay in a marriage even though it's not healthy?
Sacrifice, fears if I get divorced, what am I gonna do? Fears if I leave this, how can I survive? Fears everywhere when it comes to divorce. Culture. I don't want to see. I don't want my friend to see I'm divorced. I don't want to tell my parents I am divorced.
I think this is the biggest thing, because of these days, our lives, many people's lives, they put it on social media. Everything that they do, everywhere they go, they put their rosy lives online.
Correct.
You know, it'll be very funny. I don't know if you've come across this, but there is videos that have come across me in which there is a very rich housewife, quote unquote, like life, and the blogs are life of a very rich woman married to a very rich man, a housewife. What is my life?
Yes.
Okay, and now this is based in Dubai. Life of a rich Dubai housewife. Okay, now what does she do? She goes to the mall. She goes and buys clothes, and her husband gives her 10,000 dirhams, go buy yourself a handbag, and I go shopping here, shopping there. So now this kind of a life, now I don't know how much is it true, because this is what she puts on Instagram. And this is not the first person. I've seen a lot of things like that. We tend to, as normal people, we tend to get too involved in that life. And we feel that this is what we want from our lives as well. We want that extravagance. We want that money, that lifestyle. And my husband's buying me cars, or my husband's buying me gold and diamond every day, you know. So, and when that doesn't happen, that's where the things shattered, because we tend to compare our lives to this fantasy on the life.
Absolutely, it is true. It's real.
Why do you think in COVID, the divorce rate increased, correct?
Of course, because wife and husband together at the same house. Now, if you don't do your value, guess what? If there is no divorce, it will be a miserable life. If you're not recognizing your value and understand your value, miserable life. COVID create or put most of us in jail. Jail was talking home jail.
Yes.
However, people who is in love with their value, they say, thank God we are in heaven. There's a lot of people become global business, global, name it, all type of business because of from home.
Yeah.
And that's become heaven for them. So now Kuwait play two games, destroying and building. Destroying and building. A lot of people thought because we are at home, the economic went down, right? But if you go deeper, in certain economic shoot to the roof.
Yeah.
Shoot to the roof. Hospitality, medical,
Health and healthcare, yeah.
care,
Yeah.
Medicine,
Correct. Even Zoom. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
billions.
Yes.
Conferences by Zoom. Instead of
Podcasts.
making once in a month conference, every day there's conferences.
Yes. Yeah.
Artificial intelligence went everywhere.
Yes.
The most promotion for this artificial intelligence during the COVID become everywhere.
Yeah.
Home delivery,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Everything there is negative and positive in it,
Yeah.
including marriage and divorce.
Yeah.
Negative and positive. If we know it, if we balance it, if the divorce become for building the family, then divorce is okay. But majority of the divorce, in our thoughts, is destroying. Correct or not?
Correct. But divorce can be building, rebuilding.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big time.
Yes. Maybe the things that were placing you or drawing
Yes.
you down because of that toxic relationship or the person you were with,
Yes.
I think then when the shackles are broken, that's
Yeah,
the time
yeah,
you
yeah,
actually decide to fly.
Yeah. Why you live in situation and that situation to you like an hell?
I do agree. Absolutely.
And okay, some of family they say I will sacrifice for my kids. Correct or not? Then do you think that the kids when they live in the hell environment, do you think they live in the right environment? They will destroy or be built. They will be in the future practicing exactly what's happened at home. Fight and argument and shouting. Correct or not?
Correct.
So for me as a mother, if I see this, I'm destroying my kids or building my kids.
Destroying.
But if I am divorced and my kids, whether with me or with their father, if they are in right environment, I should be happy or not happy.
Correct. I should be happy.
But because we are a human, if we live in survival, we are selfish. We want the kids, and I want to complain as well. Nobody will look after them. So this is very deep conversation. I think the secret of it, again, when we're talking about the marriage and divorce, if the person wants the divorced, then make sure that you divorce with a constructive divorce, I will call it.
Yeah,
Building divorce.
healthy, yeah.
You don't hurt, you don't destroy that person. Okay? And if somebody want to get married, to create a healthy marriage, the best things before you get married, don't marry for survival, just the sake of having a wife, like an animal having a female partner with you, having babies and this. You want to get married, that first of all to create a life, to make sure that you know what is your value, and marry somebody in love with their value, cooperate with that, and creating your own life and her life. And if there is a kids, it means these kids have to have the freedom to grow to their own purpose or life, and this is life.
If a husband and a wife, they understand themselves, they understand their value, they're practicing their value, the communication is also at ease, there's no screaming and shouting. Say, for example, if a woman, she has family as her highest value, can be.
Yes.
Family has a highest value, and the husband has maybe music.
Yeah.
Then it can be communicated, you'd go to your studio, it'll
Yes.
give me enough time to be with the family,
Yes.
and I will do my thing, you do your thing.
Yes.
And then it's more healthier
Correct.
than being on each other. The husband, like, why are you with the wife all
You
the
are
time?
absolutely
Or why were you
right.
with the kids all the time?
Yeah.
My value is with the kids.
Correct.
Let me be with the kids.
Correct.
Yeah.
And end of the night, you celebrate the music and dancing with the kids as a family, happy family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Creating that balance. Yeah. What do you think the society, these days, the society lacks when it comes to getting married? Because we are touching base on marriage which are not love marriages, as we say. They are more on family, bring these two people together. What do you think that is the key here to understand the person that you're going to get married to, and you don't know, it's not a love match? So how do you go about that?
The secret, if anybody will have a relationship, okay, make sure that you are happy inside by you are practicing your value, which is you are understanding your identity and you know your purpose in life. If you don't know, find it before you get married, okay? So when you know it, then you go to the person matching with their value. If your value match the other person value, fantastic. Or that person having value and support their value or her value, and that person will support your value, then marriage become marriage for life, not marriage for survival. But I believe majority of marriage it's for survival, not for life. And that's why the VMG and method, what we talk and what you do, Tanvi, thank you, highlighting this, because this is the secret. This is the secret of keeping peace in life for the human.
Yeah.
And you'll find most of our conversation always will refer to the highest value, the mind and the purpose of life and the goal and the happiness and the health through this method, the VMG.
In order for us to have healthy, sustainable lives, sustainable marriages, understanding authentic self is key.
Yes.
And if divorce is the only option, you feel, because there is, again, lack of communication, or
Yes.
you're not understanding each
Yes.
other's values, and there is the mind place. It's always better to have a clean and healthy separation.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
God bless you, you go with your
Yes.
life and I go with
No
my
problem.
life. There's
No.
no problem. And I've seen people having healthy partnerships
Yes,
even
yes.
after they separate.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
they work better than
Yes.
being legally married in
Correct,
a way. Yeah?
correct.
This season we've introduced a new segment called Ask Our Expert. Well, I'll ask you questions sent in by our listeners. So I received 2 questions this time. It was shared on our Instagram, and the person wished to stay anonymous. Because I married young, I didn't have time to really think of what I truly valued in life. My ex-husband and I also married relatively quick after our meeting. It was little more than 3 months from the first interaction to the time that we said I do's. We didn't really have time to talk about what matters to us. It soon became evident that there are fundamental differences. On the surface, we meshed well in all terms, like political and religious values were the same, but there were other issues. Because we were married young, neither of us really had time to develop our values. It became clear as our marriage progressed that we had different ideas of how we wanted to spend our later years. As we grew and developed and learned more about ourselves, we became less compatible. So the question this person wanted to ask is, can marrying young really be the cause of separation? If couples have different ideas about the meaning and purpose of their lives, how does age put a strain on marriage long term?
Great questions. Marrying young doesn't mean it's wrong or it could destroy or end up of divorce. No. There is a lot of example worldwide that people get young married, but they are knowing their value and they operating from their value. That's in general. However, when we talk about majority of us, when we married young, usually culture brought us to get married young.
Yeah.
Because of the culture. Okay. And then, of course, there's a lot of sacrifice. When we say marrying young through culture, I'm sacrificing lots. It's almost gambling. Now, if she or he discover the value, putting the value together, whether individual or separate, and understanding the value, I think could be this is the secret for her to achieve what you want. So my question to her, did she know now her value, or the husband have the value? If not, find it or try to discover it, contact us. And I'm happy, to give more close advice for this person if they want to discover their value or putting the value together. And I think if they are willing to do that, I think they are creating a huge shift.
Correct. Thank you for your response. There was another one. It was sent via email. Again, the person doesn't want to be named. So, I'm about to get married soon. Although I want to go through with the marriage, I am worried about the partner might cheat on me when we are married. I don't want to enter into a marriage worried about the spouse being unfaithful. How can I be assured that my husband-to-be will remain faithful and committed to me and not have an affair or cheat.
What make you think of that thoughts before you get married? So obviously there is situation or there is something happen. Maybe you've seen even movie, or maybe something around you on the culture or family happened to them. So that idea, it become,
It's housed in your brain.
yes, it's
Yeah.
programmed your mind. Now if I will be marry that person, he will do this to me, or he might do this kind of thing. And every telephone call, every message, every email, you will be stressed about it, because in your mind, in your thought, it could
That
be
person will cheat.
Yeah. So this is a sign. It is dangerous. That require more deep advice. Not even through the episode. You delete these thoughts from the mind, and the person, if you want to be with the right person, you feel inside your heart, marry him. But the most important, before you marry, know what is your value.
I hope Mr. Ahmed's insights were useful for our listeners, and if you feel you would like to contact us, please feel free to do so. This brings us to the end of our episode. A huge thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for joining us and sharing your insights with us.
Thank you.
To summarize, understanding oneself and one's value is fundamental for sustainable marriage. By being aware and aligning our core values, we foster healthier and more fulfilling relationships. If this discussion resonated with you and you know someone who could use from these insights, please share this podcast with them. If you'd like to take advantage of our Ask Our Experts segment, start sending in your questions via email or by messaging us on Instagram. To ensure your questions are more relevant to the topic, follow us at tanvision_bh on Instagram, where I'll be posting details on the focus of the next episode. This will allow you to submit queries aligning with the forthcoming episode of discussion. For those of you who've enjoyed the show, leaving a 5-star rating and review would immensely be helpful to us. Your positive feedback plays a vital role in enabling us to reach more listeners seeking enriching content. Finally, be sure to subscribe on Spotify. Catch us on the next episode. We'll be back with another fascinating topic that you don't want to miss. This has been Tanvision Podcast, Understanding Mind and Purpose Season 2. I am Tanvi, your host. See you next time. Goodbye.